This storm could be the first landfalling hurricane for the US this year. But there's so many details we still need to work out. We've got a trough and two hurricanes that are all going to be interacting with each other, with this being one of the most complex forecasts I can remember. I'm going to break all this down and more in today's Friday forecast, which starts right now. Hey, what's up, guys? Meteorologist StormCat5. I'm going to break down everything that I know about both of these storms. Let's first start by taking a look at the United States. The upper level pattern is absolutely quiet over the United States. We got nothing in the majority of the country. The feature that I'm watching right here is this cold front. We've got an upper level trough that's digging down in the United States, pushing that cold front towards Florida. And that's going to be the central driver for these storm systems, because that upper level low is going to spin and help steer both of our hurricanes either towards or away from the coast. Okay, so let's take a look at the tropics right now. And my goodness, how things have changed since yesterday's video. We've got now Hurricane Humberto that is looking ridiculously healthy. It's a Category 1 hurricane right now. This thing could be going through rapid intensification. Look at this pinhole eye. This is a telltale sign Humberto is on its way to becoming a major hurricane sooner rather than later. And then zooming back out, this is 94L. This is future storm Imelda, and it's really disorganized right now. It's just a group of organized showers and storms, but that will, over the next 24 to 48 hours, get its act together and start moving to the north. Now, how both of these two systems interact, along with this cold front up here that's sweeping down with this trough, those are going to be your major factors that determine, will Imelda make landfall? Because Humberto is not going to make landfall. It's going to swing out to sea. Imelda is the one we need to watch. And to that point, this is Hurricane Humberto, and this is what the future holds for it. It's not going to be a threat to the United States. It's going to stay well away from the coastline, as Imelda is going to shield it from making landfall anywhere except for the Bahamas. The Bahamas needs to be on alert here, because we are going to have a major hurricane Humberto by the time we hit tonight going into tomorrow morning. So we know, although Hurricane Humberto is going to be big time here, it's not going to be a threat to the U.S. What we need to watch is this one, 94L future storm Imelda. Center is going to develop up here and then track due north towards the East Coast, towards the Carolina coastline, and eventually potentially make landfall as a tropical storm or a hurricane. And those are the two big questions that everyone wants to know, is where will Imelda go and how strong will she get? And could this be the first landfalling hurricane of the US season? These are the latest hurricane models, and these give us generally a good idea. They've come into good agreement about the future of Imelda, and they are coming into big time agreement here. They say the low is going to form just off the Cuban coastline, move north, move over some of the warmest waters in the world right now, which could allow for intensification, and then continue to trek north towards the Carolina and Georgia coastline. Now notice, there are a couple of members that actually have this thing making landfall in Georgia. There are a couple of members that have this thing making landfall in North Carolina. And then there's a couple members that actually have this swinging out to sea. That's three different scenarios, guys. A Georgia landfall, a Carolina landfall, or getting pulled back out by Hurricane Humberto. That's exactly what the Euro ensemble shows. Shows Imelda forming, tracking towards the Carolina coastline. Some have it splitting off and getting sucked out by Humberto, and then some have it making landfall and then doing a curlicue here and swinging back out to sea. Like I said, this is a crazy forecast. Similar story with the GFS ensemble, taking a similar track through the Bahamas, and then a couple out to sea, and then a couple making landfall and then swinging around and looping back, getting sucked out again. That's insane. Now, if this looping scenario were to happen, that would be bad news for the coastline, because we would get a landfall and we would get the system sitting inland for days, and that could bring significant flooding problems to the Carolinas and to Georgia. Okay, so let's take a look at the Euro, because I think the Euro does a pretty good job of giving us the most likely outcome at this point. And timing this out, going to the weekend here, Friday night into Saturday morning, we likely are going to have strong Category 3 plus Hurricane Humberto. That's going to happen. That's a fact. But the question remains, is Imelda here? How long will it take to get going? The Euro says through Saturday going into Sunday morning. It's still going to be a week tropical storm here, and it's going to be moving north through the Bahamas. As we go into Sunday during the day and then Sunday night, look at this. Imelda has strengthened just a tad and has now become a stronger tropical storm. And as it approaches the coast, the Euro actually has it strengthening even more to become a strong tropical storm or low-end hurricane near the northern border of South Carolina, near Myrtle Beach or Wilmington. And then look at this, Hurricane Humberto. That is a strong Category 3 plus major hurricane. We got the Fujiwara effect at full display here. And then watch what happens Monday night into Tuesday. Imelda moves on shore and then stalls inland. Guys, this could be a problem here because this would bring days of onshore flow and days of flooding rain to the coast and inland parts of the Carolinas, even back into Tennessee and Georgia. Then eventually Wednesday going into Thursday, Humberto moving well off the coast and Imelda weakening significantly, getting buried inland. If we put this in motion here from the beginning here, look at this play out. This will be an unbelievable sequence no matter how you cut it. We're going to have a Hurricane Humberto here. We're possibly going to have another hurricane or tropical storm Imelda here, all interacting off the coast. This is going to be ridiculous. And if you look at the GFS, it also tells a similar story. We've got Humberto very strong and Imelda making landfall here as a strong tropical storm or low-end Category 1 hurricane by the time we go into Monday, and then getting buried in the Carolina coastline with Humberto moving away and eventually absorbing that energy. Now, that's one scenario that could happen, but here is another one. This is the European AI model. This is Humberto. That's a strong Category 1, 2, or 3. But then this is Imelda, and the Euro AI model has Imelda being stronger than the others. But check it out here. As Imelda gets close to the coast, we're going to zoom in here. We've got the Fujiwara effect on full display. And if Humberto is a little bit further to the west than the other models, it'll tend to want to pull Imelda out to sea. So in this scenario, Hurricane Imelda actually wouldn't make landfall. Look at this. It gets close to the coast, but then Imelda pulls this sucker out to sea with it, and the strongest winds, the biggest surge, and the heaviest rain looks like it could stay offshore. And then it does a little curlicue. That would be insane. Now, regardless of where this thing goes, the biggest story that could come out of this is actually the flooding rainfall. Because if Imelda gets close enough to the coast and meanders and lingers over the same regions, guys, we could be talking about a rainfall of several inches. Look at this, right along the track, right offshore, you got close to a foot, and then Charleston about 5 inches, Columbia 7 inches, and then going inland, look at this, oh my goodness, near Asheville, North Carolina, close to a foot of rain. Now, this is just one model, so I don't want us to panic just yet. I'm not saying this is going to be a repeat of Hurricane Helene. It most likely won't, but there is the potential to get flooding rainfall from Georgia through Tennessee, through the Carolinas. But if the second scenario were to materialize and Imelda would stay off the coast, our rain totals would be way lower. There is some hope here. This isn't necessarily going to be a massive flooding event, especially if Hurricane Imelda stays offshore. That would be probably best case scenario for us in the southeast. Now lastly, intensity forecast. How strong is Imelda going to get? Most of the models say a high-end tropical storm or a low-end hurricane. The center hasn't even formed yet of Imelda, so these intensity forecasts we gotta take with a grain of salt. Right now, tropical storm, low-end Cat 1 hurricane, that's most likely. So that's at least some good news right now. Now, the other interesting piece here with Imelda is going to be the severe weather. Check this out. This is a hurricane model, and this shows us one possible scenario. This has Imelda making landfall in Georgia as a strong tropical storm. But look at this. Look at these bands that are going to be moving on shore. Each one of those is likely to be rotating, and the tornado threat in the Carolinas also could be a problem. And look at this, because Imelda is going to be dealing with that dry air. This is that dry air that's coming down from that cold front. That actually could help limit the intensity of Imelda, but also that will increase your tornado threat. We saw that with Hurricane Milton last year in Florida. A little bit of dry air on the east side, and look what happened. So Monday afternoon, Monday evening, and into Monday night, we're gonna have to be on the lookout for potentially severe weather along with that tropical storm, with a tornado outbreak possible. Guys, that was an insane forecast. We've got 2 potential hurricanes. It's going to be an insane couple of days. But for the rest of us, look at this. High pressure is going to dominate beautiful sunny conditions for the majority of the country. No severe weather to talk about other than the possible tornado outbreak in the Carolinas. And with those clear skies, the temperatures going to be the 60s, 70s, 80s out in the plains, whereas 60s and 70s in the Northeast. Still warm and muggy in the southeast, and then warm and hot in Texas. Summer's kind of hanging on here. Highs are going to be in the middle 80s, with some of that heat spreading east for the weekend. So although we got hurricanes, the rest of us will be dealing with beautiful weather. All right, guys, that's all I got. Make sure you tune in tonight around 6 p.m. Eastern. The big weather show is coming back. We're going to talk about both systems, Humberto and Imelda. I'll show you all the latest models, get into all the latest data. We're gonna have an epic time. Have a wonderful Friday. Find someone, tell them you love them, tell them you care about them, do something nice for someone today. It's StormCat5, and I'll see you on the next one.